15-year-old girl comes to the physician to request an abortion. She explains she had consensual unprotected sex with her boyfriend approximately 9 weeks ago. She says she usually has a good relationship with her parents, but she has not told them about the pregnancy. She adds, "My parents are really understanding and they have always supported me, but they are working so hard and I just don't want to burden them with the news that I'm pregnant. A serum pregnancy test is positive. Ultrasound shows an intrauterine pregnancy consistent in size with an 8-week gestation. Physician and his wife recently experienced an early pregnancy loss after many years of trying to have a child. Since then, he has felt increasingly conflicted about performing abortions on his patients. Which of the following is the most appropriate initial action by the physician?" Okay, let's look at A. Explain that he cannot perform abortions because of personal reasons and request that the patient find a different doctor. This is something that is doable in the US. So this is something, yes, this is something that varies from state to state in the US. The laws of abortion, things of abortion. Now, always remember that when you have questions about abortions, emancipated minors, and things like that, you're not expected to know the rules of each state. In these cases, you're supposed to answer the question very broadly. And the perk about that, or the positive thing about that, is that you will basically be choosing an option that is the least, that has the least conflict, the option that does not deal with laws, or the option that does not state any specific laws. So it becomes a little easier to choose that. When it comes to abortions and what the physician has to do, I'll tell you one thing, that if a physician, due to personal views or religious views, feels that they don't want to do an abortion, they have the right to refuse performing an abortion. Now, so that's why option A is a nice option, but I'll tell you, there's one problem with option A. Option B, inform the patient that she presents past the gestational age limit for legal abortion. Now, when it comes to legal age for abortion, in most states, it's around less than 13 weeks. At 8 weeks, there is no rule. At 8 weeks is a very early pregnancy. So in 8 weeks, there's definitely no rule in any state that she's presented. This would be lying to the patient because it's legal in all states. I mean, when it comes to the legality of abortion, less than 13 weeks is usually what most states talk about. 8 weeks is very is unheard of. Share his personal situation with the patient, encourage her to think about his gene. Now, this is something that many people would like to do because you're trying to be empathetic with the patient and things like that. But remember that she has come to request for an abortion. She's come to talk about, she wants an abortion basically. When it comes to that, it is not up to you, it is not up to you to change the patient's views or ideas about an abortion. This is also a very touchy topic when it comes to the US. There have been cases that have been going on for years when it comes to abortion. So encouraging her to think about the decision would basically tend to waver her opinion regarding abortion. It's not something that you would do. No doubt, you are. You're probably she's probably come to you because she trusts you, but this is not part of what you should be doing. You should not be trying to change your views on this specific opinion. All right. And definitely you should not be divulging this much when it comes to sharing your personal situation. This goes beyond what you should be doing as a doctor. You should be empathetic with the patient, but there's no need to be sharing a very personal fact like losing a child yourself and things like that when it comes to talking to a patient. D, encourage the patient to talk to her parents about the pregnancy. This also is a good option. We can think about it. Let's look at the last option. Explain to the patient that he's only obligated to perform an abortion if it was a case of rape or incest. Now, there's no rule like this. Some states have this rule where it's only rape or incest, but we don't know if this person is in that state. We don't know which state this person is coming from. So we don't know if this is a law in that state. So when it comes to a hard and fast law of rape or incest, they need to give you a state and you need to know the laws of that state, and they're never going to do that on the exam. Trust me, they're never going to ask you about the abortion laws in a specific state. So that's why option E is out. Now we have option A and option B. I said both are valid. Now, as a physician, you can refuse to perform an option because of personal or religious reasons, but it is your obligation to provide a doctor who will do the abortion. That is your job. Your job is you're obligated. You're not obligated to perform the abortion, but you are obligated to find a doctor that will do the abortion. And this question is right. This answer, sorry, this option A option is right all the way until it says and request that the patient find a different doctor. You cannot ask the patient to find a different doctor. That is why this option is wrong. You have to find a doctor for her. You are obligated to provide a provider or physician who will perform the abortion. So A is out. And automatically when A is out, D becomes the best option. So this is how sometimes you can go over many of the questions. You have to rule out. Behavioral science is difficult. It's a difficult subject. It's a difficult topic, and ruling out is the only way sometimes. And so over here, option B automatically becomes the best option. I'm not saying it's the correct option, it's the perfect option, but out of the options that are given, it's the best option. Even though that she says that she does not want to talk about the pregnancy to her parents, she doesn't want to overburden them. You'll still choose this option. Another thing that basically asks us to choose this option is because she's a 15-year-old girl. When you talk about emancipated minors and things like that, many of the states have a rule of 16 years old for emancipated minor, and then they have things like, oh, the minor should be having a job, not living with the parents, things like that, all of those things. But for all practical purposes, this girl is still a minor. She's not even an emancipated minor as yet. So if possible, you definitely want to involve the parents, but you can't tell her to, you can't just say, oh, I can't do anything about this, go and talk to your parents. No, encourage her to talk to her parents about her pregnancy. um Suppose instead of this, encourage the patients to talk to her about her pregnancy. um and suppose option D said, encourage the patient to talk to her parents about pregnancy and come back to you after 3 or 4 weeks. Suppose this was the entire option. Encourage the patient to talk to her parents about her pregnancy and come to you after 3 or 4 weeks. This was one option. And A option was explain that he cannot perform the abortions because of personal reasons, but he's willing to refer. I mean, as a doctor, I'm willing to refer the patient to a doctor who does abortions. In that case, if these options were changed in this way, A option would be the correct option. And for the reason being that, yeah, you want to encourage her to talk to her parents, but you don't want her to come after 4 or 5 weeks, because by that time she may be past the limit at which you can do an abortion in that state. So in that case, option A would be correct, with the small change that you refer the patient. You don't ask the patient to find a different physician. You find a doctor for her directly who will do the abortion. So this is how, with just small changes here and there, the options and the correct answer can change. So I hope that you get this in your mind.
Thanks for watching. Please give a thumbs up and subscribe for more.